You've seen it happen. Some products just take off. They absolutely soar. And others, well, even with a great team and a solid plan, they just flop. So what's the difference? It's often not about what's happening inside your company, but what's going on outside. Today, we are going to break down how to use competitive intelligence to make sure your product is the one that wins.
This is the question that keeps product managers staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. After months, maybe even years of work, the launch just fizzles, and the whole team is left asking, who killed my product? Well, guess what? The answer is almost never inside your own building.
Look, you can check all the boxes. You can have the perfect business case, a dev team that's totally on fire, and a price point that makes perfect sense. But if you're building in a vacuum, completely blind to what everyone else is doing, you're basically building on quicksand. Success takes a lot more than just getting your own house in order.
So let's get into it. Why do good products die? How can so many launches with so much potential just fall completely flat? It pretty much always comes down to this one critical mistake: building without looking outside.
And most teams start out with the best of intentions. They fire up a spreadsheet, right? Let's track our product against a couple of competitors, maybe a handful of key features. It looks clean, it's manageable, it feels like you're in control. So far, so good.
But then reality crashes the party. The market is way more crowded than you thought. So to get a real picture, you got to add a few more competitors. And suddenly, that nice, neat spreadsheet starts to stretch, and it's getting a little more complicated.
Oh, and what about the features? 4 is definitely not enough. To be thorough, you start tracking 10, then 20. And now the spreadsheet isn't just getting wider, it's getting longer and longer and longer.
And before you know it, this is what you're staring at. A monster. An absolute beast of a spreadsheet that is totally impossible to analyze. You're drowning in data, but you have zero clarity. This isn't an analysis. It's a data graveyard.
Okay, let's hit pause. This is where we need to make a big pivot. The problem here isn't a lack of data. It's a total lack of focus. We've got to stop doing messy analysis and start creating strategic intelligence. It's time to trade that spreadsheet in for a compass.
And a fantastic tool for this is something called the Kano model. It really helps us figure out what customers actually care about. Think of it this way. Basic needs are the table stakes, so you have to have them to even play the game. Performance needs are where you go head-to-head with competitors. And delighters? Those are the unexpected wow features that make people fall in love with your product.
Now here's the catch. The market has this relentless gravity. What was a delighter yesterday, that amazing new feature, quickly becomes a performance need. And before you know it, it's just a basic need that everyone expects. Competition turns your amazing innovation into just another commodity. It's a treadmill, and you can never stop running.
So what's the goal in all this? It's actually pretty simple, but it's a big one. To win, you need to know your competitors' products, their strategies, their weaknesses better than their own people do. Yeah, I said it. That's the real game changer.
Okay, that sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do that? Well, let's get into the playbook. This is how we take all that chaos and complexity we saw earlier and turn it into crystal clear strategy.
The playbook isn't rocket science. It's all about breaking a massive, complex problem into smaller, solvable pieces. First, you map out the entire landscape, everything your competitors offer. Second, you simplify all that data into visual summaries that people can understand in a glance. And third, and this is so important, you have to look beyond the features.
Because features don't tell the whole story, not even close. A great feature built on terrible technology is a disaster waiting to happen. So you have to dig deeper. What tech are they using? How is their pricing really structured? What are real customers saying in reviews? Where are they putting their money? This is where the real juicy intel is hiding.
All right, so gathering all this intelligence is a huge first step. But the real magic, the part that actually changes things, is when you use it to influence decisions and actually shape your company's strategy.
And this right here, this might be the most important takeaway of all. Your goal is not to create the world's most beautiful report. It's to drive the smartest decisions. Success isn't measured by how much data you collect. It's measured by your influence on the business.
So how do you get that influence? You make it part of the system. You embed competitive factors right into your product roadmap. By making things like competitive advantage and competitive pressure actual weighted criteria, you force the conversation. You make sure the market always has a seat at the table.
And you know the best part? This stuff isn't locked away in some secret vault. It's hiding in plain sight. You just have to know where to look. Competitor demo videos, their online support pages, heck, even their job postings. These are absolute gold mines of real, actionable intelligence.
When you start doing this, when you master these steps, something incredible happens. You stop being a data collector and you become a true strategic partner. You earn your seat at the decision-making table.
And a great way to think about it is that your intelligence is a gift to give. Don't just sit on it, share it. Proactively help your product teams, your dev teams, your sales teams see what's coming. When you become their trusted guide to the market, your influence just grows and grows.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question to really think about. Look at the work you're doing right now. Is it just informing people about what's happening out there? Or is it truly influencing them to make better, smarter, more competitive decisions? Because that difference, well, it's everything.